Hello friends and my lovely viewers. Welcome back to the channel of prettiness. Today we will update the tier list of our guardians. Let's get started.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. I'm tired of shit.
We will rank our guardians in PvP, PvE, Expedition and Guild Boss, and Eyes of Abyss. No guardians fall below the B tier, and thus our tier list will consist of S+ tiers, S tiers, A tiers, and B tiers. Our S+ tiers are the absolute meta top dogs of Bloodline, and we should without a doubt aim for them. Our solid S tier guardians are great options, but not the very best of the best. Some of our S tiers may be worth it, while others may not be worth the effort it takes acquiring them. Our A tiers are kinda meh, and we may not get the results we want in battle. So I suggest we do not aim for guardians of this rank, to be honest. And our B tier guardians are the very lowest ones, and we should not aim for these ones at all. Now that our tier system is cleared up, let us begin by ranking our Duskmourn count. Duskmourn is an excellent choice if you want a guardian who hands out buffs to allies while debuffing enemies. We may not deal a massive amount of damage compared to other guardians in Bloodline, but quickly summed up, our passive skill grants powerful buffs to both Duskmourn and allies, our active skill creates a shield for our guardian, our ultimate skill gives us a strength buff, and our guardian skill can execute opponents during the right conditions. We mostly focus on launching buffs, but we also debuff the opponent here and there. As for the ranking of this guardian, Duskmourn has proven to be equally amazing in all fields, but he doesn't make it to the meta unfortunately. We may place him into a solid S tier in all 4 sections. We consider Duskmourn count to be a safe choice, though he may not be our very best option. Gaining this guardian requires us to sacrifice 1 warrior role champion and 1 assassin champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold. If you want to acquire Duskmourn, we may consider placing him in either the front row or the mid row of our battlefield. It will depend on our team comp, so feel free to swap him around to explore the different placements freely. Next up we have our Void Guardian. Void is an incredibly popular choice in Bloodline, and there's a good reason to why that is. Additionally to launching powerful buffs and debuffs, he is an amazing tank. He shields allies from harm, recovers a set amount of their constitution, and buffs our allies' damage output. Our Void Guardian functions as the main pillar of the team, and we should build our team around him if we do acquire this guardian. When it comes to our Void's current ranking, he has proven to be perfect for PvP and PvE, but less effective in the Eyes of Abyss, Expedition, and boss fights. With the current meta, we may place him in the S+ tier for both PvP and PvE, and the normal A tier for Eyes of Abyss, Expedition, and boss fights. So even though he does not excel in all the fields, our Void Guardian is still a top dog in PvP and PvE. We need to sacrifice 1 tank role champion and 1 marksman role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold to converge our Void Guardian. If we acquire this guardian, we may want to try him in either the back row or the mid row of our battlefield, since he statistically has proven to function the best in those placements. Our next guardian in line is called Revenant Nexus. I don't think our Nexus is equally talked about compared to our Void Guardian, but she should not be underestimated. We know Nexus for launching AoE attacks and fear-based control effects. She also kinda helps out the allies by recovering their constitution, but her deep fear effect is clearly the main event of her skills. So if we have a champion from before who thrives against fear-inflicted opponents, then our Revenant Nexus may be a perfect fit for our team. One thing to keep in mind is that she may have a slower attack speed compared to our other guardians, so we may need an attack speed trait to help her out. But it is not causing a big problem. About her ranking, she is perfect in Eyes of Abyss, Expedition, and boss fights. I would say she lands on the S+ tier in those sections. But in PvP and PvE, she is just not good enough for the meta. At the moment, we may place Nexus into the solid S tier for PvP and PvE. So she's great and all, but it sucks she cannot perform better in PvP and PvE. We can acquire this guardian by sacrificing 1 tank role champion and 1 mage role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold. The back row and mid row are the suggested placements for Nexus, since our guardian normally isn't very tanky. We need to keep her alive for as long as possible, so she can delay enemies with her fear effects. Let us move on to our well-known Ignorath guardian. Ignorath is one of our very few tanks of the guardian section. His main focus is to create shields and deal AoE-based damage to enemies. Though he sounds really cool and all, we do face a couple of problems with this guardian. Ignorath launches the skills onto himself instead of the allies, making him a selfish tank. And clan traits such as Molten Armor and Grim are countering shield effects. So Ignorath may have been a decent pick in the past, but I'm having a hard time seeing a long-term use of him now, especially with the new meta. Him being the second guardian release is also kind of a red flag in my opinion. Anyways, as for our Ignorath's ranking, I believe he has fallen down to the A tier. So he may function in battle to some extent, but we have better options out there. By the way, since we can use our Ignorath to converge our Judicator called Flammabane, he is not entirely useless yet. So there is no shame in collecting this guardian if we see the need to do so. To converge this guardian, we will need to sacrifice 1 tank role champion and 1 warrior role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold. If we want to use our Ignorath in our team, he has statistically proven to thrive well in the front row or mid row of the battlefield. The placement depends on how we build up Ignorath's trait comp. If we make him a great tank, then we may try the front row, while if we boost up his damage output instead, then we may prefer having him in the mid row. Moving forward, let us discuss the tier of our Fate Manipulator Guardian. Fate is primarily meant to act as a support in battle. She buffs allies while debuffing opponents, so she's not a DPS type, nor does she function as a tank. The hype of this guardian may be the giant hand that shields and buffs our allies. We may have a harder time against opponents and special traits that counter shield effects, but I don't think our Fate Manipulator will face the same disadvantage as our Ignorath. Fate is stronger, she has multiple uses, and she is one of our latest guardian releases. Now about her ranking, she has proven to be incredible in PvP battles. I believe we may place her into the S+ meta tier for this section. As for PvE and our remaining sections, she is not as impressive as we had hoped. Currently, I personally believe our Fate Manipulator belongs to the solid S tier for these sections. She is still amazing, and it may be because she is relatively new, but she is not the very best of the best among our guardians. Converging her will require us to sacrifice 1 tank role champion and 1 mage role champion, plus 5 convergence gels and some gold. If we acquire her, we may consider placing her in the back row or mid row of our battlefield. She is not a tank material since the defense she lends to allies is an indirect protection and not a tank-like behavior. So we should keep that in mind when we build her. Next up, we got our very first Judicator, whose name is Flammabane. He is a damage dealer who sustains himself with a shield and debuffs enemies. The toughness and toughness cap is an important part of his skills, and we need to invest in this by unlocking his astrolabe to gain the full amount of toughness. Apart from this interesting astrolabe, we do not find anything extraordinary about him, to be honest. He looks average compared to guardians, with average skills and average traits, and it does not look bright at all. His unique title of Judicator may blind us and make us believe that he's good, but in reality, he is just a stepping stone for greater Judicators to come. As for Flammabane's tier, we may place him into the normal S tier for all our sections. This tier doesn't look super bad compared to our other guardians, but we have to keep in mind he's a Judicator. We should expect a lot more from our Judicators, since it is very hard acquiring them. We have 3 ways of acquiring him, but I will just mention the number 1 most common way. We can use our Ignorath plus 1 marksman role champion and 5 advanced convergence gels to converge him. All 3 ways are very expensive, so we should think it through properly before we decide on whether to converge this guardian or not. Anyways, if we do collect our Flammabane, we may consider putting him in the front row or mid row of the battlefield. Those placements are statistically the best options for him, but we can also experiment and try our own thing. This is all for part 1, but do keep an eye out for part 2, as we will complete the tier list of all our guardians and Judicators. Remember, the tier list is just my very own personal opinion from my own observations, so we may not agree on everything, and that is completely alright. What do you think about the tiers, by the way? Would you rank the Guardians and Judicator any different, or would you keep the tier list the same? Feel free to share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. This is all for today, so if you want to partake in our giveaways, subscribe to the channel. You may also leave a like or share the video with your friends if you want to. We highly appreciate your support and contribution. Thank you so much for watching to this video, and we will see you in the next one. Have an amazing day. Take care, stay foxy, adios, bye!